our new girls that are here, Suzanne and Jana. Welcome you. Oh, and Rachel. Yeah, she's a new one too. Yes, amen. And so we would have had 4 new ones, but Audrey was not able to come, and so next time. Excuse me, but I wanted to sort of kind of break the new girls in, so you don't break and run on us here. I already told one that we lock the doors when we get started. I said that to some of the new girls and all the blood went out of their faces. I don't know what we got into here. No, but anyway, these love encounters are different than anything you will have ever gone to. I've gone to conferences and women's retreats. I've been a believer for 40 years, saved for 40 years, and I've never seen anything like this. And it's just different because absolutely there's not any of it that has to do with, we just go with God. I mean, yes, we've sort of got it. I mean, you know, there's order, but it's His order, you know, not man's order, where we order Him out of the room. And so He's free to move, and you're free to move. I always tell newcomers, you know, or I tell anybody, you know, when you walk through that door, check your denomination at the back door. Hallelujah. Because that will, not that I'm against that, you know, but this is not, there's no room for that. This is just God here, you know, and it's freedom. You know, the Bible says where the Spirit of the Lord is, and we say this all the time, but few of us have actually experienced that or get to be in an environment where you can actually experience that freedom, and you get to do that in these love encounters. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Amen. Yes. And if there's not freedom, it's not the Spirit of the Lord. That's right. I'm sorry, I didn't write the Bible. And so He just gets to move. And so you're free to respond to Him. It is about Him. You know, we used to sing a song, let's forget about ourselves and concentrate on Him and worship You. We forget about ourselves, concentrate on You and worship You. Well, that's what I really want us to do tonight. Not just sing about it, but forget about yourself. Forget about it. Just forget about it. What somebody might think. I'm telling you, we've made fools of ourselves when we were serving the devil. Amen. Am I the only one that made a fool of myself when I was serving the devil? Okay, well, good. I'm in good. This is a good crowd. And so we can make what the world would think fools of ourselves for Christ. Amen. Because it's just, we need to get rid of the starch in our spiritual drawers. You know, I mean, it's just not impressive with starchy drawers. You know, and actually, after you get rid of them, you'll see how free you are. Once you got rid of spiritual drawers, I'm talking about here. Starchy drawers. I told you already, I don't wear them. That's too much information. Spiritual drawer. I don't wear no drawers, spiritual. But I want you to just focus on Him, and these encounters, what make them so awesome is that they're encounters with Him, you know, and He with us. It's not that and it's not even about feeling a goosebump or a tickle, it's about knowing that He's here. Yes. And I don't always have a feel or a goosebump or whatever, you know, I don't always know, but I know by faith He's here because He said He would be. Yes. Because He's with us. Mm-hmm. And so when we got here, He got here. Amen. And so He came here with us. Hallelujah. Because we're carriers. We're carriers. And so I just want you to enjoy this weekend and suck up everything of Him that you can possibly suck up. And just take it with you. This is not an event. It's not an event. It's an invitation to experience things that you might not get an opportunity to experience of Him when there's no boundaries put on Him. And we do put them on Him because it makes some folks nervous. I don't know how they're going to make it in heaven. Because this is miles down here compared to what it's going to be up there. You know, and so they might as well go ahead and practice down here. Amen. You know, and so they can not be in shock when they get up there. Amen? Okay. So we're going to, in a little bit, we're going to dim the lights so we're not just going, you know, looking at everybody. Because I won't be able to see you if you do that. You know? So if you feel somebody behind you, you're going, that's just me. No. So we'll dim the lights, but just a little bit, so because Kathy wants to videotape how God is moving in us, and sometimes we can't see something, but just outlines of people because it's so dark. But anyway, I wanted to just start with this right here. And I'm going to read it out of two versions. I'm going to start with the Amplified. And it says, the secret. Now this weekend, it's really important that you pay attention to everything. Because every song, of course they always are, but I never seen him put together anything like this. I was telling some of the girls earlier that on him, as he was putting together this music for this encounter, there was some groups I'd never heard of. What was that one about? There Be Lions, or We Be Lions?
We Be Lions.
We Be Lions. That's the name of the group. I thought it was a song. You know, I thought, We Be Lions, that's a cool song. You know, it's got to be a cool song. So, you know, that's the group. And I'm going, We Be Lions. and then we got 3 of their songs on there. It's so cool. You know, and then I found out they're Integrity from the 80s. Integrity Hosanna music. And I'm going, boy, this is sure different than Don Meow. Thank you. Moen, thank you. I thought, man, but it's awesome. And so it just so pay attention this weekend. Don't miss what he's saying through each song and through whatever happens tomorrow. I brought everything just in case. Okay. I mean, I got 3 versions of the Bible, you know, and I got my prayer journal and my personal note thingy, you know, and I got my, you know, a couple of books, and I thought, and some notes. I thought, well, you know, surely he'll, you know, so I'm ready. I just don't know what I'm ready for. So anyway, but that's okay, because it always turns out good, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I'm more shocked than y'all. I'm going, did that just come out of my mouth? It's like, man, I was the first time I heard that. You know, but we have a good time. And I want you to receive. We ought not have to cram it down our throats. Not if we're born again. If he has to cram something down our throats, and we're not enamored with him, and absolutely we just think he's the most awesome thing, you know, ever, we might need to get saved. I asked somebody the other day if this individual's dad was on the brink of death, and she had texted Kathy and I for praying, and we both, I was trained and I trained her, we pray different. You know, we don't pray. We take authority that he's given us. And so, and I was sending this, what we were praying, so she could get in agreement with us, and, you know, and she got really excited about it, and he's home now. But he was on, and so, but when she was praying us, and she would say, you know, I need you to pray, you know, and she called him her little personal sweet name for him, and as a matter of fact, I've got a picture of him and a picture of another person on my wall that I'm praying for, and because I want to look at their faces when I'm praying. And so I sent, and I thought, man, I just don't want to, so because we always think, I don't want to offend her. Well, heck with that. If somebody's eternal soul is in the balance, I'm not in this for friendship. I'm not our popularity contest. I don't want to stand there before God and watch someone ushered off to hell because I wouldn't confront that because I didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I don't want that blood to be on my hands. So I texted her and I said, does your dad know the Lord? Has he been born again? She says, well, he's a Catholic. See, that's how I always know. That's my first clue. When somebody gives me, do you know the Lord? Have you been born again? Well, I'm a Baptist. Well, I'm an Assembly of God. Well, I'm a Methodist. Well, I'm a Presbyterian. I'm going, I didn't ask you that. I said, are you born again? And then she says, well, he loves Jesus. But she says, he's kind of like an intellect, and I'm going. And so I mulled on it for a couple of days, and it looked like he was really not going to make it. And he's not that old. He's not even as old as me. And I don't feel like I'm old, but 70, but anyway, he's not that old. And so I finally just said, here's what I want you to do. I said, when you have a chance, I want you to ask him point blank. I said, just because they're this, or they were that, or they love Jesus, do they know him? Have they become a new creation? Do they have a story? Can they say, I was this way, and then I met the Lord, and then I was that way? And if we don't have a story, we've got religion. And religion won't make it. And so I sent that to her, and I thought, oh God, because I love her. She's one of my daughters, and so I mean in the faith. And so I didn't know how she's going to receive it, but I couldn't take a chance. And I said, you need to know that's more important than anything else. And so she says, I'm going to do that as soon as and so she received it. And I still don't know yet if she actually got that opportunity, but I believe she did. And I don't know what happened, but I didn't even know if she would know how to lead someone to the Lord, or introduce, because you just almost don't hear that anymore, and so, but I told God, I said, I stopped. I just said, God, I want you healing spirit, soul, and body, just healing spirit, and then we'll deal with the rest of it. And so he's going home, praise God. And so, where was I going with that? Good grief. Okay, but I want to read this to you, because it says here in the Amplified, so this is where I was going. This is about your encounter with him and his with you. So it's not about anybody else. And if somebody starts weeping or rolling on the floor, it's not your business. Keep your eyes on him. It's about, because you might be there in a minute. So you never know. So I want to read this. This says the secret, and of course on our prophetic flyer talks about mysteries and secrets. And when I started reading, even just in my private time reading in the Word, I began to see how many mysteries there are in the Bible. Not even the word mystery, but mysteries. And I'd go, that's a mystery, God. That's a mystery. And then it showed, then there's a mystery in the mystery. And I thought, wow. But this says the secret of the sweet, satisfying companionship of the Lord. Have they who fear, then that means not like this, like he's going to whack you, but it means revere and worship him, and he will show them his covenant.
Amen.
And reveal to them its deep inner meaning. So that's what we want to do. We want to have that sweet, satisfying fellowship of the Lord. And he says, and for those, I'm going to open up. And I'm going to show them stuff. Show them my covenant. And so, and then the Passion Translation, I love this. It says, there's a private place reserved for the lovers of God. How many lovers of God we got in here tonight? Lovers of God. So I'd say this is a good place. So he says, there is a private place reserved for the lovers of God where they sit near him and receive the revelation secrets of his promises.
That's good.
I'm ready. I'm ready to sit near him like Mary. She positioned herself. There was Martha, you know, all wanting to serve those. There was probably 72 men there, because there was the 70. No, there was more than that, because it was the 70 plus the 12 plus Jesus. So that's how many showed up at Lazarus' house that day with Martha and Mary, you know, and because they're his sisters, you know, and they showed up hungry men. And so Martha had a right to be going, oh my God, you know, we got to feed these guys, you know. And Mary, she said, there's Jesus. She just sat down at Jesus' feet. And it says she positioned herself at his feet to hear, to listen, to receive the needful thing. And that's what it says in the Greek. She positioned herself at his feet to listen, to receive the needful thing. And that carried a lot more weight with Jesus than the chicken fried steak that Martha was in the pans to fix up for him. Probably not. Probably with fish, But anyway, I'm glad I looked in there. They had fish every time they turned around. But anyway, so that's what we want to do. So when we go into worship, I want you to pay attention to the words and then respond to them, because it said receive. And then when you receive, just say, Lord, I receive that. And then all of a sudden you're going to find yourself, if you can get your mind off yourself long enough to put your mind on him, you might be surprised what he begins to reveal to you. And you want to always write that down in your journal, in somewhere, because you're gonna want to need that. That's going to be something that he said for you, okay? And so this is a place where we really do not just sing that song, but we really do forget about ourselves long enough that we can actually think about him and be consumed with his goodness and consumed with his love. I had somebody, they're not a daughter in the Lord, but when I lived in Colorado, and I got a message from her sister, and she says, I want you to really pray for, and she said her sister, because she's give up on God, because she says he doesn't do anything for her anymore. And I sat there and I mulled on that, and the more I mulled on it, the madder I got about it. And I thought, if I could just be translated to Colorado for a minute, I'd shake her like a rat. So she could wake up and realize, if he sent his son,
that's right,
not just to the cross, but to hell, to pay our penalty, so we wouldn't have to go there if we would receive him, and he just hadn't done anything for her. I just wanted to slap the stupid off of her. In love, of course.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. He says, don't lay hands on no man. Suddenly I was fixing to lay some hands on her suddenly. And I thought, oh my God, what spoiled brats we get to be. Well, he just has another. Well, if he didn't do another thing for us, and we got saved, and we're born again, and we're going to actually spend an eternity with him, shut up. I mean, if he didn't answer another prayer, of course, we know he will, because that's just him. He just likes to do it. But good Lord, I mean, get over our sports sales. You know, I mean, I go on some of these tangents throughout the weekend. You know, so just y'all just they're used to it. But you know, some of them are like, dude, man, she mad. No, I'm just passionate about people growing up. You know, it's time to grow up. I mean, we can't. What are we going to do with this end time harvest when everybody's in the stinking nursery? And I don't mean as nursery workers. They're in there with the pacifier stuck in their mouths with their little pampers on, you know, and they've been Christians for 40 flipping years. So we can't have don't worry about Jesus coming back yet, because there ain't nobody to take care of the end time. When we have the end time harvest, everybody's in the nursery. It's time to grow up, isn't it? Yes. Grow up in the things of the Lord. And so y'all can be learning some very cool things this weekend, I guess. I mean, well, they're going to be from God. They'll be cool. Yeah. And so anyway, but just dive into Him, because He wants to love you. He wants to. It's more than, well, Jesus loves you. I know. I was not supposed to be doing anything with my Bible. I was at a what was it called? Arms.
Something recovery.
Addiction, recovery, something, arms. And I was asked to come and speak, okay? And so, but they said now, and it was a pastor that had it. And so, and he was doing a phenomenal job. But he was being nice and staying within the bounds of it, because it was a government thing. And so, I don't do well with that. You know, I mean, I try. It's not rebellion. It's just that I can't see Jesus doing that either. You know, and so he just screams at me and wants out. You know, just let me out. So anyway, so, you know, so I left my Bible over there so I'd not be inclined to start preaching. And so I was just going to encourage them, and I was supposed to share my testimony, you know, and stuff like that. And so I got all these little faces right there, and there's just no hope in their faces, and they don't know who they are. They don't know what value and worth they carry, and I just couldn't take it. I just couldn't take it, so it just kicked in, and I just got my Bible, and it was over. You know what I mean? And I looked at Brother Ted, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I can't. And so anyway, you can kick me out later. You know, and I just went down to each one of them, and then I started prophesying over, and I just go, and I said, Jesus loves you. And they're just going, all right. I said, no, God loves you. I mean, I got right in their face and went, whoa, you mean He really loves me? And I went to each one of them, and I tell you what, when we were done, we almost had revival. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, oh my God. And so we don't know who we are. There's people sitting in this room right now that don't know who they are.
That's right.
And if you don't know who you are by the time this weekend is over, I'm going to have to slap the stupid off of you. It'll just come to that. Y'all know I'm kidding, right? Yes, I have not. Has anybody ever been slapped, had the stupid slapped out of them?
No.
We're going to have a good time tonight, but these are so that's the word that the Lord had for me tonight for us.